I'm Marin, and this is Post-its and Pens. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. In today's video, I am going to do the Goodreads tag, wherein I answer 11 set questions about my Goodreads user habits. And then I've added 2 more questions on to the end. As always, I will put the questions down below if you would like to do the tag as well. But let's go ahead and get into the video. So I was not able to find who actually created this tag. If you know, please let me know down in the comments, but kudos to whoever they were. I kind of was just doing a Google search to see what kind of various book tags were out there, and this one sounded like a fun idea. So that's why I went ahead and rolled with it. But credit to whoever created it. Please let me know who it was if you happen to know. Question number 1 for the Goodreads tag is, what was the last book you marked as read? And the last book that I actually finished completely was Tyler Johnson Was Here, which was written by J. Coles. If you would like to know my thoughts, I did a reading vlog, which I'll link up in the cards, so you can check that out. I also marked a book as unfinished because I DNF'd the book, so technically it's read, but I didn't read it all the way through. And that book was The Summer Prince by Alea Dawn Johnson. Question number 2 says, what are you currently reading? So in other words, what is marked currently reading on your Goodreads? So the first one is Fire by Kristen Kishore. I am listening to this on audio, but I'm actually on chapter 23. So this is the first book that I am currently reading. The second book, I will just put a picture right here because I accidentally left the book in the living room and I'm too lazy to go get it. But that book is Panic by Lauren Oliver. So those are the 2 books that I am currently reading. Question number 3 wants to know, what is the most recent book that you marked as want to read or TBR? And that book is The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. Again, cover here. I saw this one on somebody else's to read list, I think, but also I am subscribed to the channel Fascinating Horror, and he just did a video on The Radium Girl, so it kind of had me doing some Googling, and so I decided to add that book to my to-read list as well. Question 4 wants to know, what book do you plan to read next? Now, I actually have an upcoming shelf. I will kind of put a video here and scroll it through if you want to take a look at it. So each month after I do my TBR game, I mark all of the books on that from that game as upcoming. So I have a list of things that I'm trying to read in the month of August, but the most pressing ones that I'm going to be working on next are A Mad Wicked Folly by Sharon Biggs Waller. And then I'm also going to be listening to The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So those are the 2 that are up next. Question number 5 wants to know, do you use the Goodreads Star Rating? And yes, I do. However, Goodreads doesn't do half stars. So if I feel like I'm leaning more towards a half-star rating, I will just mention that in the review and then mark the stars. Sometimes I round up. Sometimes I round down. It just depends on my feelings on the book. Question number 6 wants to know, are you doing a reading challenge this year? And yes, I am. I am participating in the Mount TBR challenge. So in this challenge, you pick various levels, various mountains to climb. So I started out with, I believe it was 24 books, and I've since upped it twice. So I am actually on my 3rd mountain, hoping to read 48 books. Now, the caveat for this challenge is that you are supposed to read books that are on your own physical TBR, so they are the only ones that count towards the challenge. I've obviously read other books that I just heard about this year, so those don't count. But I currently need 2 more books to finish my 3rd mountain, and then I'm going to just consider that challenge done. Number 7 wants to know, do you have a wish list? So no, I do not have a wish list category on Goodreads. I don't actually have a public book wish list anywhere. The only wish list I have that involves books are books that I would really love for my classroom. So shameless plug. I do have a link to that down below if you happen to be feeling generous and maybe want to donate to a classroom that would really love to have new books. You can check that link out down below, and I would love any additions you happen to send to me and my students. But no wish list for my own personal books. I do throw them on a private wish list on Amazon, but it's more as a way for me to keep up with titles that I might want to purchase at some point. Okay, question number 8 kind of ties right into that. It says, what book do you plan to buy next? So I am not buying books this year for the most part. I have shopped a few library sales, book sales, that kind of thing, and I did pick up a series of books off of eBay because they were really discounted and I've been wanting to add them to my collection, so I went ahead and picked them up because they are out of print. But I am not really buying books, so I'm not really keeping track of books that I would want to purchase. I do have some on that Amazon private list, as I mentioned, but they're not pressing needs. I don't necessarily have to have them. They're just books that I'm kind of interested in. Okay, question number 9 wants to know, do you have any favorite quotes? So the answer to that is yes. I have a ton of quotes that I've saved on Goodreads. And then it says, would you like to share a few? So I picked out 3 quotes. I'll go ahead and read them. I'm reading them off my screen, so forgive me for looking down. But the first one is from The Titan's Curse, which is a Percy Jackson book written by Rick Riordan. And the quote says, the most dangerous flaws are those which are good in moderation. And then the second quote that I really love is from Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. And that quote is, I think we ought to live happily ever after, which just makes the romance fan in me very happy. And then the last quote is actually from The Lord of the Rings, specifically from The Fellowship of the Ring. It's a quote that I've loved since I first heard it in the films, because I watched the films before I read the books. But that full quote is, all that is gold does not glitter, not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither, deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken, a light from the shadows shall spring, renewed shall be blade that was broken, the crownless again shall be king. So I just really like that one. I think it really sums up that series really, really well. So love that quote. Okay, question number 10 wants to know, who are your favorite authors? So I find this question really, really difficult, but I have come up with a few that I'll go ahead and share. So first of all, I love Rick Riordan. I love his mythology series. I'm quite behind on 2 of them. I haven't read the 2 most recent ones. They're on my list to read. I just haven't gotten there yet, but I really, really love him, the way he writes. He's got a wonderful sense of humor. His characters are very bright and brilliant and fun to follow along with. So love him. Another author that I really, really love is Marie Rutkowski. She wrote a series, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago. It's the Winner's Trilogy. The first one is The Winner's Curse. And I loved that book. I loved that series. So since then, I've really wanted to read her other books. And again, I just haven't gotten around to it. But she has released, I believe, 2 other books since she finished that trilogy, both of which are on my to-read list. And then she has a new one coming out in January of 2022, which is also on my to-read list. So really love her books, just like the worlds that she creates. And I'm not typically a huge high fantasy lover, but the Winner's Trilogy is fantasy-esque, and I really, really did like that one. Okay, other authors that I really enjoy, Erin Morgenstern. I liked both of her books quite a lot. Holly Black, I haven't read everything she's released, but what I have read that she's written, I've really enjoyed. And Maggie Stiefvater is the other one. I really loved The Raven Cycle, and I am enjoying the Dreamer Trilogy. Question number 11 says, have you joined any groups? And I have, although I'm not terribly active in the vast majority of them. So the first one that I joined when I first joined Goodreads a really long time ago is I have to read it because I don't really participate in this one anymore, but I was very active at the start, and it's the Young Adult Fiction for Adult group. Obviously, I also have joined the Mount TBR group for that challenge. I also just joined the Literally Dead Book Club group, which is hosted by Books and Lala, Kayla. And then the other one that I joined, although I'm not super active with this either, is the Goodreads Librarian group. Okay, now number 12 says, are there any questions you would like to add? So I went ahead and added the question, how many books are on your read shelf? And the answer for that is 579 books on my read shelf. Now, obviously, I've read more books than that, but when I put that Goodreads list together, honestly, I couldn't remember all of the books I'd read, so it's more than that, but that's what's listed on Goodreads. And then to go along with that, the second question that I added is how many books are on your want to read shelf? And the answer to that is 537 books. So I am really trying to make a push to cull down that want to read list by actively reading the books that are already on the list. So that's where a lot of the books in my TBR jar come from if you watch any of my TBR game videos. I also do a lot of library loans for books that are specifically on that want to read list, and it's also why I'm trying to avoid buying new books. I really want to read books that have been on my radar for a very long time that I never actually read. So, okay, and then of course they always want you to tag people. I'm not going to do that, but if you watch this video and you would like to do it yourself, please do. Also link me down in the comments if you have already done this video, because I would love to see your answers to those same questions. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.